Hi there, I'm Birgit O'Connor and welcome to my studio. Now, spring's here and Easter's just around the corner, and I thought it would be fun to show you how you can easily paint some baby bunnies. Now, in the description below, you're going to find a link to the line drawing along with the material list. So enjoy and happy painting. For this painting, we're going to do some little white bunnies. Since we're using the watercolor paper and we're not using white paint, we need to make just a shadow color. I could actually take maybe a little tiny bit of black. If you have white, you could take a little bit of white and make a gray. Or if you don't have that, what we could do is take maybe a tiny bit of blue, like that, and mix a little bit of brown. Remember, we're primarily painting with just water. It doesn't need to be a lot of color. What we'll do is take this little bit of color in a very light value, and then we're going to start thinking about our shadows. We know that the sun is up in the sky, so the backs of our bunnies are going to be light. On their tummies, since they're under the bunny, they're going to have some shadows. Now, I think what I'm going to start with is working on dry paper. So what that means is I don't need to wet the paper. I could put flowers in, I think that would be wonderful, but let's just start with our bunnies. So I'm going to go right underneath the chin, just like this, working one bunny at a time, and I'm going to soften an edge. And the reason why I'm working one bunny at a time is because that way I can manage it. Just like that. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and start working on the ears. We're going to try to keep this as simple as possible. Remember the shadows underneath the ears, and soften a few of those edges. And I'm constantly grabbing a tiny bit of color, and I'm just taking the very tip of my brush and grabbing that. And then let's go ahead. I don't want to bring too much color in. That's actually too much right there. So I should add a bit more water to it. Then I'll bring it over to the eye. Now, since these are little white bunnies, they are going to have little red ears. They're going to have little red eyes. Okay, I'm liking what's happening so far. We're trying to keep it very simple. And remember, I said we're going to go under the belly of our rabbit. This is this back rabbit right here. Let's go ahead and get some color in there. I'm not bringing it all the way up to the back. Otherwise, it's all going to be one color. Maybe a tiny bit of color up there. Now, if I leave it alone like that, that's not going to look really great. So I'm going to soften. Just take a damp brush. I'm taking the brush in the water, tapping my brush on my container, tapping it on my towel, and then I'm softening. Just like that. Go around the ears to the eyes. I'm going to get a little bit more of that blue just because I like it, and see what happens. Now, the reason why we're using a set like that, that's a Prang watercolor set, the reason why we're using that is because it's very affordable and most children will have them. Dip the brush in the water, bring it to the edge of the rinse bucket, tap it on the towel. We want to remove some of it, but not all of it, and just soften. Just like that. We could take a little bit of red or a little bit of pink with a lot of water in it. Not much. And a little color on the back side. We could keep it as simple as this and then just get those eyes in. Now I have a little brush like this. I could even find a smaller one. Bring the red over here. Something like that. And go in the eye. And we'll do the same thing over here. And we're getting close. And start to think about the inside of the ears. Right down here. See if I can make that work. So it looks like they're hearing us. So I think that's working. Maybe a little bit over here. And a little bit over there. And I was going to leave them alone, but I have so much fun doing this. I'm going to go ahead and try to just add a few more little details. And that's basically just repeating what I've already done with a smaller brush. And that way our little bunnies stands out a tiny bit more. And a little bit over here, just a few little strokes like that. Okay, they're really showing up now. But I could think of working on that background. See how much tape I have on here? And over here. This is a little short, so I need to find another one. We'll just use something that I have over here. It's a little bit big. So it's going to be different. I love our bunnies. I think they're looking great. Let's see, this should be sort of dry. And then let's start thinking about our background. I'm looking for a color that I just might like without it being too overwhelming. And what we can always do is take it to a scrap piece of paper like this and test it. Oh, I think that works. And then let's go ahead and just start getting our color in. Now you don't need to put the background in. You could just leave your little bunnies alone if you want, but I think it might be nice to really see our bunnies. And if we go and put that darker background in, then you'll be able to see them. We'll just go around it like that and just carry that water along the pencil line, just like that. That's kind of nice. I love this area. I might like to mix together a yellow and a blue. You could always use the green out of the palette. And for these areas, did you see what I did? I just wiped off that extra water, and I'm going to touch the very tip to these little puddles. That way it doesn't pool too much, and let it run a little bit. You can see how shiny that is, but what's really neat is when it creates some interesting blossoms like that. It just does some really fun things. Let's do this. That's a little too dark. I don't want to overthink this, but I do like that green. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start putting some grass over here, just some brush strokes. It doesn't have to be perfect. And if I want to tone it down, I could add a tiny bit of brown into it. I might even flatten my stroke like that. You could turn that into a rock, whatever you want. Maybe give it some little blades of grass in there. I'm trying to decide, do I want to go ahead and draw some pink flowers in, or do I want to, oh, I think that's more fun. Let's do that. I think that's a lot more fun. I might even take some yellow and drop it in there. Lots of different mingling going on there. I could go a little darker right inside their eyes. Just right through there. Make them stand out. Let's just throw a little bit of orange in there. I might be overdoing it. I always like my white daisies, which I didn't put in. I think that's probably enough, and I need to stop. Otherwise, I could easily do too much. But what might be nice are a few of those little tiny brush strokes. I was thinking about going darker with my sky, which I could do. Just curious what would happen. I'm flattening my brush just by holding it more horizontally like that. And maybe we'll take some of that green. Would that work in there? Why not? We've got a lot of fun mingling going on here. I'm going to remove that extra water, and I'm going to go along the edge just like this to try to let whatever color wants to run down here run, because then it's going to look just softer and fuzzier. Then I think I'll come back in with my glues just like that. Touch a few of those little areas with water. Let's see what happens. And let's see, we're going to make that an orange little flower right there, maybe another one over there. Let's take a look at the rest of the painting. I'm going to slowly take off the tape and see our little bunny painting. Now that was a lot of fun. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. And if you're interested in more of them, don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, have fun and happy painting.